There are many people that I have to thank, but in order to avoid leaving anyone out, I'll just thank one person. Before the summer, I mentioned the idea of a second annual dinner to Suri. She asked, do you think we can do it again? A tremendous amount of preparation goes into it. So I said, don't worry, I'll help you like I did last year. To which she replied, that's exactly what I'm afraid of. So I'd like to thank my wife for arranging the entire dinner. Feeding the journal, organizing with the caterer, and arranging everything for this evening. She stays out of the limelight, but because that's how she likes it. But she's the force behind it all. A couple of weeks ago, I went to see Adam Levine at his office. While I was there, I stopped by to say hello to Mr. Joseph Levine, Adam's father. Mr. Levine said to me that 35 years ago, the Philadelphia area had approximately 280,000 Jews, and now has approximately 180,000 Jews. 100,000 Jews have disappeared. He asked me what I thought we can do to change the tide. The first thing I mentioned, of course, was the importance of Jewish education. Later on, I thought to myself that many Jewish children have gone to Sunday school and have been exposed to Jewish education. Yet they grow up, go off to college, and something happens, and the commitment is lost. What is going on? I'd like to share the following story. There's an international Jewish outreach organization called Arachim. It began in Israel, and because of the following story, it expanded to other countries throughout the world. Joe was a very successful Israeli businessman, a son of Holocaust survivors. He rose from a childhood of poverty, and by the mid-1980s built up a huge high-tech company. One day his wife called asking him to pick up some meat on his way home from the office. He stopped at a trendy takeout place to order basar lavan, which is pork. As he stood on line, he began to feel uneasy. He remembered a story he had heard from his parents. He always knew the story, but now it took on heightened meaning. Joe's maternal grandfather was Rabbi Shraga Feivel of Hungary. Rabbi Shraga Feivel was captured by the Nazis about a year before the war ended, and imprisoned at a slave labor camp. After a year in hell, Rabbi Shraga Feivel was about to be free. The war was over, and the Allied forces were going from camp to camp, liberating the prisoners. They could already see the smoke of the Allied forces marching on their way. Freedom was mere hours away. At that moment, the head SS officer gathered the Jewish prisoners together and announced, "The war has ended. In a few hours you will all be free." "All but you," he said, pointing to Rabbi Shraga Feivel. "You must pass one more test. You must eat this piece of pig's meat. Only then will you be allowed to go free. Refuse, and I will shoot you in the head right here and now." The tension was so thick, you could cut a knife with it. Rabbi Shraga Feivel had been meticulous all through his stay at the camps, not to eat unkosher meat. He didn't even eat soup, which might contain meat. Rabbi Shraga Feivel proclaimed, "I will not eat chazer flesh pork." A shot rang out, and Rabbi Shraga Feivel's soul was returned to its creator. And now, 40 years later, Rabbi Shraga Feivel's grandson stood thinking to himself, "I am waiting in line to pay money to eat that which my grandfather gave up his life not to consume. All he had to do was eat that one small piece of pork, and he would be set free. He'd be allowed to return to his family, yet he wouldn't do it. I have anything. I am free to live with my family and have anything I want. Yet I am about to purchase this meat. Either my grandfather was crazy, or I am crazy, and I cannot believe that he was the crazy one," thought Joe as he got off the line and went to buy dinner elsewhere. When he got home, he spoke to his wife about his feelings and the emptiness he had been experiencing. They both had to acknowledge that despite all the material prosperity, a certain spiritual emptiness gnawed at him. They were missing something but never knew exactly what. They decided to attend an Arachim seminar. Joe was enthralled by the seminar. It penetrated the mysteriousness of God, Torah, and Judaism. It rocked his world and shook his soul. Afterwards, Joe ran up to them and said, "Why isn't this incredible message getting out to the whole world?" They explained that though they had a terrific product, they lacked the money, manpower, and marketing to do so. Joe would not hear of this. Right then and there, he became the general director of Arachim, a title which he proudly holds to this day. Joe, now known as Yossi, lives a completely observant life with his wonderful family. He has estimated that since the 1980s, 60,000 children have been born to families that were rejuvenated by Arachim. This story, which is truly amazing, shows such dedication and commitment. Rabbi Shraga Feivel was so close to freedom, yet he knew what he had to do. Of course, what he did was exceptional, but it seems so far from today's Jew. Part of the problem, perhaps, is that today the average Jewish child who goes to Sunday school is not told the truth necessarily. He's not told that the Torah that we have comes from God when the entire Jewish nation stood at Mount Sinai approximately 3,300 years ago. I recently had a conversation with the rabbi in Bucks County, and he was telling me how he does not believe that the story of Noah in the Torah ever happened. And he oversees hundreds of children. Why do you think Judaism means to those precious children? If the whole thing is a fairy tale, why should I commit my life to it? The Torah says that it's the Word of God. If it is not, then it is all a lie. The Torah does not say it is divinely inspired. It says it is the Word of God. The damage is being inflicted so early. Just as in business, you would never invest into something that you don't think was legit, so too you would not sacrifice and commit your life to something not genuine.